This is a live recording of Fiona Arrigo, founder of the Arrigo program, presenting at Grace Belgravia on the 2nd of July 2014, on the topic of taking care of the self, a spiritual practice for these times. Be aware if there's any resistance and welcome it. The idea that we have to be in a certain place to be in a meditative space or to be in a place where we have to achieve is not the way that women need to meditate or develop a self-practice. So just be as you are. Shut your eyes. And I want you to meet loving kindness. I want you to feel, experience, remember, yearn, ask for that place inside that is loving and kind and supportive. Let go of demands, let go of have to, let go of taking care of, let go of being responsible. Let go, and just for this minute, take care of you. And meet that relationship. I am taking care of me. I am taking care of me. I am present to myself. And see what's there. See what's there, if there's a nothing, if there's a resistance, if there's a shopping list. If there's a, oh my God, this is going to be so boring, what's she talking about? Whatever's there, just let it be there and try and go underneath that place, because this is the meeting that we all search for, ourselves. Loving, kind attention to the self. I am present for myself. And when you feel ready, I'd like you to open your eyes very gently, nothing fast, nothing sudden, nothing demanding. But when you're ready, just listening to yourself in your own time, becoming aware, becoming mindful of your eyes, of your eyelashes, of that experience of your eyes and eyelashes opening. Let that be slow. Let that be sensual. Let that be attentive. Connect. Connect to you. And open. And that, believe it or not, is a meditation. The unconscious recognizes 2 minutes as much as 40 minutes. But what we thirst for, what we yearn for, what we need is to pay attention in a whole new way to ourselves, which I'm going to talk a little bit about tonight. So making space, I repeat, is making time for you to build a loving relationship with yourself. And how much do we ignore that? How much do we even know that that's there? We don't give ourselves time. Therefore, we don't attend to ourselves in the inner practice, and therefore often we are moved around by everything and everybody because we're not at home lovingly attentive to the self. And this is a new way. This is a whole new way for women because we haven't been taught this. Our mothers, our grandmothers, we haven't been shown this. This is the path of the tender feminine, the part of the feminine that works her own inner ecology, and as she understands her own inner ecology, she comes into a state of ease and grace and flow. And we're all learning this. You know, I'm talking about it, I am not the perfect model of it. I was under deep stress today, lots of adrenaline shooting through my body. But there were whispers, moments, seconds of how I could teach myself tenderly how to come back to myself and how to be my best friend. As women, we ended the last talk, and I've been so happy to hear people come back to me tonight saying they took one thing, or just that they had this epiphany, or just one small sentence, because it doesn't matter really what I'm saying. The most that I can give you is something that awakens you to you. And there's so many great teachers and so many great books, and the knowledge, the path, is only about you awakening to you, and you taking yourself seriously, with laughter and with joy. But taking yourself knowing that you are precious. It's ridiculous that we don't know this. You know, we've read in mystic books and we've read in yogic books, your body is your temple. What does it mean? What does it mean? We have to make in this shift that we're going through now, some of us in the new feminine, the wake-up of the Western woman, we need to make this shift into understanding that our body is a temple, yes, but practically, I am going to take care of myself. And having hot baths and doing yoga and having massages and all these wonderful things, these are all good for you. But now we need to make that extra connection, because so much of my life I was doing yoga or having a facial or having a hot bath with the candles, and when's it going to get over? I'm sitting, I'm relaxing. When's the bath going to be? I'm relaxing. I'm taking care of myself. I'm loving myself. It was all good, but I was running a shopping list. I was having a facial, and where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I was in yoga. When's it going to end? Have I got a parking ticket? And all these things are natural because of this crazy mind that we have that is not spacious. The Buddhists talk about the path of enlightenment or a path. And when you sit with great masters, what most people say when they sit with great masters and great teachers is they feel so empty. But it's not a empty like, oh, there's nothing going on. They're so switched on, but they're empty. And so we as Western women, the invitation tonight is for me to gently invite you back into a magical relationship with yourself. What your mothers may not have told you, what your husbands may have forgotten to, what your business pressures may never have allowed you to. And this is the separation. This is the time where we are becoming more whole and becoming more integrated. So my work is very much about how do we work from the inside out. So a little bit about me, and there'll be time if you want to ask questions later on, but I'm the founder of the Arrigo program, which is a program really dedicated to women's well-being, spirituality, seeking, understanding, but most of all, really how to nurture women. Because women are great. It's natural. We've inherited it. We've been doing it through the ages of giving out. We give ourselves away. We tend, we multitask, we do so much. And now this new feminine consciousness comes in and says, well done, woman, you've been doing all that, fantastic. But now I want you to take care of yourself. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, your relationship is going to be out of balance with the outer world. We have to learn to live from the inside out. This is what consciousness, awareness, and the feminine is pressing into us. For those of us that are awake, for those of us that have taken care of our health, seen a psychotherapist, done a yoga class, followed Deepak Chopra, done something. We've done the first grade stuff, many of us. And now the push is on for another peeling, another relationship, which is the one that I'm talking about, so that we're not split. So my own journey began, I think, when I was 5. And it's been a deep journey, it's been a painful journey, it's been a journey of deep, deep inquiry, and a passion, really, what's driven and still drives me, is a passion to know that beyond myself, and to find a connection that fills my day, even though my little self may be misbehaving, or some stress, or I'm shouting at my children, or something's going on. But the search, my daughter's sitting here, by the way, my search has always been to find what is true. So for 35 years, I went on this peeling process. And the first stage was I was lucky enough to be found by some really amazing Tibetan teachers. And my second stage was to be found, I worked a lot with family of origin and original pain. My third stage was to really work with the power of the medicine woman and who this aspect is in the archetypes for these times, and the full power of the wild, the untamed, the questioner, the radical, the passionate, the loving, the kind, all aspects to meet and dance in this relationship to this evolving feminine consciousness. The feminine consciousness on a soul level we've all got the bite today in terms of understanding feminine consciousness. But it's so vast. It is so huge. And there's a slow unpeeling of like a beautiful mother. She gives us a bit of awakening, and we remember, we integrate, and then comes another blast, and another blast, and another blast. So she is always stepping us up to know more, so we can open, so we can learn to be free and in service and in joy and in love and in ease and in beauty and abundance. The question is, how do we live like this when there is so much pain in the outer world? When there is so much conflict in the outer world? But my understanding, simple as it is, and I'm not here to drown your minds in radical stuff that you've never heard before. All these talks are simple, genuine reminders of the heart. Simple, they're not complicated. To say, how can you be more? How can you fully embody and be more? So, the second slide. Deepak Chopra, I was listening to, I don't normally listen to him actually, and I was listening to him by chance over the weekend in a fantastic interview he gave. And he was talking about how he believes, which is what I believe, is the more well we become, the more we honor our own evolution, the more at peace we become. This leads to global peace. This leads to global well-being. So we have a responsibility today as women to become as whole and as healed and as peaceful as we possibly can. As an offering, the more we heal, the more we clean, the more we find this quality of space, this makes us, this automatically gives something out into the world. And you've seen it, you've seen women. I mean, just think for a minute of a woman that you really admire. And it could actually be a man, it doesn't matter. But what are the qualities that you love, or you admire, or you see in this other being? And some of it can be power, and some of it can be serenity. Some of it can be grace, some of it can be peace. But to fill yourself up and to simultaneously empty yourself out, so that again you start to live from this inner place, number one, personal power, but two, being yourself. He was also talking about, and we've heard this, we've been hearing this for the last 30 years, about how bad stress is and how stress is behind every single disease that we have on this planet right now. If that be so, why do we allow ourselves to get stressed? There's something in the collective where we don't examine what we truly want and what we truly are. We just take it. Run faster, get more, work later, party more, ba ba ba, ba ba ba, ba ba ba. We just take it. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying there's another way. There's another way if we get conscious, if we become aware that we can live life another way. So what would it be like for your precious body and your precious mind? You've got one life. I mean, many of us may have many, but that's another talk. But for now, we have one life. You have a childhood, you have a teenagehood, you have a maidenhood, you have a midlife. You have one life. And what are you doing with it? These are fundamental questions that somehow, certainly in my reality, I didn't ask myself. Because I'm always keeping up, or managing, or doing, or pushing, or thriving, or striving. My invitation to you is to stop it. Your body is precious. Your nervous system is precious. Your emotions are important. And by the way, be as emotional as you need to be. You know, this is woman. She's many different shapes. Take care of you. Stress does not suit women's bodies, by the way. Men's bodies, it's another story. I'm not saying it's good for them. It doesn't. Your body searches for peacefulness, spaciousness, grace, well-being. How great do you feel on a beach? How great do you feel somebody's bringing you a drink, or somebody's cooked you dinner, or you've just, whatever does it for you, look at a sunset, or your lover touches you in a sweet way. How great do you feel? And why do we only do that twice a year? It's serious. It's serious. I mean, I do this, so I know. I'm going away, everything's getting done. I'm like, my God, I'm Wonder Woman. You know, everything that I've said that I wasn't going to do, or I've delayed, or I've said, suddenly I'm doing it all. I'm so exhausted by the time I get on the plane. So I'm talking to you because I have to learn all this as much. Don't put yourselves off. Don't. One life, one body, one experience of many. Life experiencing herself through you. Take care of you. This is, for me, the meaning of space and spaciousness. If you want space, turn up. See what works for you. See what doesn't work for you. Turn up for you. Take a breath. Take a breath, a really good breath. Breath into your body. Now, take a breath. That's the invitation. Most of us aren't breathing, I've discovered, as I've started to breathe. The very thing that's nourishing, the very thing that's going to support you and keep you alive, we're not doing. So stress, obviously, it rattles all the nervous system, it boosts adrenaline. Most importantly, we get tired. We get exhausted. We get overwhelmed. And it's part of life, it's supposed to be okay. I want to say it's not okay. Why should we be living in a body that's tired, overwhelmed, and exhausted just because everybody else is doing it? And you meet your best girlfriend for lunch, and you say, how are you? I'm exhausted. Give me 3 bottles of wine. Oh, I feel a bit better. Why should we? I mean, seriously, thank you for laughing. Because seriously, this is the shift. It's like, what are we doing? What are we saying yes to? And everybody else is doing it, and everybody else is talking about it, and everybody else is telling you, oh, if you take a pill, or if you do this, or if you do that, if you do this, if you get that, if you go there, if you do, you know, you can't keep up. And even when you get there, you're so exhausted, you can't even enjoy it. So what happens when we're not spacious, what happens when we're not connected, is we start to act out, and we start to get triggered, and we start to be completely decentralized by everybody. And then we'll blame, and we'll shame, and we'll judge, and we'll talk, and we'll criticize, and we'll lash out. And what's the worst thing for a feminine body? Toxicity. Critical thoughts, judgments, superiority. All these qualities poison you. And we've been trained to think like that. So what I'm really interested in talking to you about is the Great Untraining. Every time we meet, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of weaving, a little bit of making a new cake. Hello, beautiful. How can we unwind? This is, how do we find space? How do we find the new feminine? How do we respond to the new? How do we come into this whole new paradigm? You unwind. Because most things, all of us, have been told, may have been okay up to now. But there is a shift that is saying, woman, come home, come in, and live from the inside out. Be your own mistress. Set your own time. Be your own authority. Nobody else's. Because nobody is there for you except for you. If you want a great relationship, have one with yourself first. Doesn't mean you can't grow through relationships. It doesn't mean if you're on the most fantastic relationship that you have to go home and say, sorry, I'm having a relationship with myself. It's not about that, excuse me, but it is about becoming aware, becoming conscious. Make that relationship with yourself. So we are learning as women, as we make space in ourselves, to balance, to find, to connect to a new ecology inside yourself. I think I've invented, actually, the new chakra. I don't know if it's true, but I think I have. And often I find myself when I'm talking about a point just here, just above the belly button, just about there. It's not the solar plexus. And I see it as a big 50p bit. And I keep coming back to this place, which is here I am. Here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am. And just let myself settle. Here I am. It's not complicated. It's not, it's none of that. I mean, do this. These are beautiful ancient practices, but they're not necessarily something you can do in the moment. Just here I am. Or I am, the great opening. Here I am, hello. Listen. So, how we create space in these times is learning to live inside out and to trust your inner authority. How do we create space? Become your best friend. So what does that mean? Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine, all the best friends that you have in the world looking outside? But you're your best friend. Did you know that? You're the lover. You're the sister. You're the one that you've been waiting for. You are that one. It's inside you. And Western society, we suffer from loneliness. We suffer from isolation. And it's coming from this epidemic of just looking so much for everything outside. But when we come in and just pay attention to that little 50p bit, hello, I'm here. I'm here for you. There isn't anything more loving than that right now in this time. You are there for you. So I want you you're sitting on some paper. I want you to do this short little exercise. I want you to think of something, somebody, a child, could be an animal, a parent, or it could be a thing of beauty that you really, really love. Really love. And as you're thinking about how much you love that, think about how you treat that, what you do for that, be it a person. What do you do for that person because you love them so much? And if it's not now, maybe it was years ago, or maybe it hasn't even happened yet and you're just imagining it. It doesn't matter. But I just want you to connect to a being that you really feel love, great, great love for. And when you've located that, just write down the qualities that you give to that. Kindness, excitement, welcoming, food. And treat this as a meeting, just treat this as a meeting right now. And I want you to, beside that, see if there are any qualities that are similar to how you are treating yourself. Just think about it. Just really think about that. If you really love somebody or something, or what you want to give to that, and have a look at how do you reflect that back to you? How do you give that same quality or qualities to yourself? And if not, there's a gap. And, you know, like in the Great British Tube system, mind the gap. Mind the gap. The gap is the split. Mind the split. If you're giving everything out and you're not giving it in, there's a gap. And that gap will not survive so well in these coming years in integrative feminine psychology. She is looking, her power is looking to gather. So if you're not paying attention to you, she's going to roar a little. Because we're creating together a tapestry together as a collective together of this new woman, this new energy. We do it together. The minute one of us wakes up, it's going to affect the other, even if it's going on in Bangladesh, because we are in an age of telepathy, and we are all affecting the whole. So, if there's a gap, the feminine will be turning up to say, shorten the gap, close the gap. With you. Fill the gap with you. So it's an upside down, inside out understanding. Find space, fill the gap with you. It's a new way to be, because we've learned from our great-great-grandmothers and our grandmothers and our mothers that women need to give out. We are natural nurturers. So this isn't to stop nurturing, and it isn't to stop caring, but it's coming from the place of presence, and it's coming from the place of awareness, because you're back in yourself. If you're in yourself, you don't come from resentment. How many times do we, oh my God, this person. Oh my God, I've got to make that. Oh my God, he's so demanding. Oh, I've got to go to this meeting. Oh, why should I be doing this? How much of that is inside you? How much of that is inside you? Mind the gap. Create space. Feminine integration won't stand for that anymore. We can't, we're coming out of, you know, and listen, women are doing such incredible things, you know, this is only my little tiny contribution to something. You know, women who are going out and doing, I mean, women in this room that are doing things for communities and doing things for causes and standing up politically and saying no more and trying to bring healing into environments and changing. This is the time for woman. She is doing such incredible things. But be careful of doing so much outside. And the romance and the glamour and the feel-good of doing so much outside, because it makes us feel good. Why? Because we feel wanted. We feel we're doing something. We feel we're connected. And it's natural, and it's okay, and it's good to do this. It's good to do this, to want to do it, to aspire to want to do something good is great. But mind the gap. You can't do this anymore, giving out, giving out, and getting exhausted. It isn't going to work so well. So, we are bamboozled, again, Deepak Chopra said so beautifully, I mean, my gosh, what a man, into thinking there is something out there that is going to make us happy. This is how we've been educated. We have been educated to think if we get that house, if we get that car, if we get that perfect body, if we get that radiant skin, if we get, then everything will be okay. I suggest that if we create space which comes from deep inner love, and if we create from inner love compassion to the self and to others, in the new paradigm, there will be the law of attraction, which means wealth and cars and beautiful bodies and fantastic skin can all come naturally from the inside out, because it's coming from an abundant consciousness rather than a scarcity consciousness. And the scarcity consciousness is what we're healing in our bloodline, in the grandmothers, the grandfathers that never had enough. And so what we've inherited is a fear body and a pain body, and often this adrenaline scaredness, if that's a word, that there's never going to be enough. And that never going to be enough is the killer. It's the stress. It's the one that shoves you out at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're exhausted, and says it's okay. When I'm 40, I'll retire. Or when I'm 80, I'll have all that. And it's true if you get there, maybe, but what have you got there with? What are your bones like? What is your blood like? What are your thoughts like? What are you like? And the compassion of this mother, of this feminine, says it doesn't have to be like this anymore for Western women. For us that are lucky enough to be going through the self-inquiry, this great undressing, this great unwinding. And we are, slide number 150, don't worry. Oh, it's perfect, I'm on cue. The Dalai Lama said, you all know this, in 2009, it is Western women who will change the world. Why? Because we are advantaged and we are powerful. And when we get this understanding of inner ecology, living from the inside out, as we clean up our acts, it is then that we serve our community. It is then that we make the difference. This, yes, we can make a difference, and please, anybody in the room that's doing anything, as I said before, world causes, helping people, raising funds, so many of us are involved with great charities, all that's amazing. But as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be it. Be the inner peacekeepers. Don't go out for peace. Better stay home and be peaceful. Don't go out for grace and all these other, and don't look around. and say, but she's got it and I'll never get it, or he's got it and it's not mine, or it's easy for them to stay, they're not feeding whatever. We all have got it. Every single one of us. This is the wake-up. The Aquarian age is about the individual wake-up, and the individual then serving the whole with consciousness, serving the group with consciousness, serving because you have woken up to yourself. Mind the gap. You'll be laughing on the tube when you hear it. So, another beautiful quote by Amma, who says, "Women are the power and the very foundation of our existence in the world. It is therefore crucial that women everywhere make every effort to rediscover their fundamental nature, for only then can we save this world." So if we're suffering from self-esteem issues, which we're all coming out of, there's a thing. Your very radiance, your very meeting of yourself is effective. It's no longer, oh, I don't matter, or somebody else can do it. It's no longer, oh, she's better than me. It's no longer, this person is more successful than I am. We have to become powerful in our own essence of who we are, what we are, and bring that individual spark of whatever it is, because it's uniquely yours. You're not supposed to be me. I'm not supposed to be you. What I am supposed to be is fully embodied with myself. To become full of myself, not in an old-fashioned understanding of I'm full of myself. It's actually the more work we do on ourselves, the more humble we are. The more humble, the more vulnerable. Because the more we meet ourselves, there isn't this charge of having to prove, because you feel so not good about yourself. We don't have to prove. What you need to do is meet yourself, find the space, find the time. 2 minutes, 10 times a day, meet yourself. It's not a big meditation process. 2 minutes. I'm asking for that commitment. 2 minutes, 10 times a day, 50p bit. Hello. Hello. What do you want? What do you need? What do you feel? Who are you? Thank you. Take care of you. And from that place, we shine and we generate and we collect the fragments, the fragmented self, which this is what we're doing. This is service for these times. The healing of the bloodline, the healing of the ancestors, collecting all the fragments of where we were told, no, don't stop. You can't, you mustn't. It really is okay to shine. This is a phenomena. This is a phenomena. Well, Marianne Williamson and Nelson Mandela, the things that we fear most, the thing that we fear most is our own radiance. The thing we fear the most, we hold ourselves back from the meeting. So do this for a second. Just write down for a minute, where are you holding yourself back? Where do you think you're holding yourself back? And beside that, if I could really be what I want, if I could really be, what would that be? What's your yearning to be? You can fill in all these when you get home as well, but just for now, if I could be, what is that? What is that? And this is called becoming your own author, becoming the author, the authentic. This is the age of transparency and authenticity. To become authentic to the self, become your own director, your own author of your life. And this takes courage, because in this great unwinding and great unpeeling, we have to learn really at a fundamental grassroots level what is good for you and what isn't good for you. And you will hear voices. And the voices go something like this. We have to keep quiet. We shouldn't say anything. Somebody else knows better. It's not my place. I'd better say yes instead of no, otherwise I'll make a fuss. God forbid, I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to cause anything. I'm going to take that project on, even knowing it's going to kill me and exhaust me and drain me, and I'm going to be nasty to my children, and I'm going to be really pissed off with my lover, and I'm not going to want to go out, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because, I should do it, because I really should. I'm going to do that. I'm going to murder myself because it's okay. It's really fine. I'm going to stay in the relationship. It's not suiting me. Can't bear him. Don't like him. Don't want it. I'm going to stay here. I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want to upset the children. I don't want to let my family down. I don't want to do it. I mustn't do it. I must not do it. I'm going to stay here. I'm also want to say right now, of course we have to discern. And this isn't about being radically rebellious, really. We have to be appropriate. Appropriateness is part of a spiritual practice. We're not here to upset, we're here to harmonize. But this is just the game that we've bought. This is the matrix that we're buying into. This is the bamboozlement of the collective dream that says, this is how it's got to be. I've got to follow what everybody else is doing. Follow fashion, follow this, follow that. Use this cream, follow it. This person says, oh, this person's a guru. They say, do this. I better go and do that. I'm not feeling so good on it, but I better do it because they look great. Why aren't I looking great? This job is suffocating me. But if I stay in it, I'm going to get a pension. And I'm going to be safe. There's nothing wrong with being safe. There's nothing wrong. Soldier on. Don't disappoint. Do everything perfectly. You have to be perfect. No matter what. Have a great dinner party, put the flowers in the right place, get your figure sorted out, speak 22 languages, be so perfect that there's nothing left of you. It's serious and it's painful. This is the collective chatter, and it's been okay. This is the collective chatter, and it's been okay. But now, ladies, we're in an awakening. And the awakening is saying, hi, girls, we're going to kick some ass. You can't do it that way anymore. Because we're waking up. and the filters are falling away. So there's a newness coming. So we can play in it, or we don't have to play in it. We can be part of this new social revolution that's happening, which is called I Am Awake. And I am an authority and author in my own movie. And I'm creating space, and I'm minding the gap. I have to fix things. I must be responsible. If I'm not responsible, who else is going to do everything? Who's going to take care of it if I don't do it? And you can play out a lifetime of that, because that's what you believe and that's what you'll get back, because energy is energy. Energy is magnetic, and the power of energy attracts. So if you believe nobody else can do it, guess what? Nobody else can do it, because you're perfect. But what a weight. Listen, part of the new paradigm is to play. So we can play, we could become conscious, say, I'm going to be perfect and have fun in it. That's free. But if it's, oh my God, I can't get out of bed, I can't speak to him, whatever, give me 50 glasses of claret just to get through the evening, mind the gap. The issue is, what I said earlier, is that a lot of this comes from our predecessors. A lot of this comes from old paradigm, pain body, scarcity consciousness. So when you find that 50p bit, say to that 50p bit, I am safe. I am safe. I am here now. I am here. Just that. All these little things, just get rid of that mental clatter where what I want you to do from tonight for a minute, because we forget, and then you'll read a book or you'll go to another thing. You know, we're all here to remind each other. We're all mirrors. We're all gateways. Well, there isn't a great teacher. The age of the great guru is gone. We are here to remind each other. And for women, I really encourage you to be nice to each other, to really support each other, because it's a fragile time of awakening. And we need each other. We need to support each other. It's really good not to judge, complain, bitch about another woman. Try to support and uphold and honor. And if shit's going down, talk about it to her. But don't talk, don't destroy, don't bitch behind people's backs. It's not good, it's toxic. So the great unwinding for tonight is, I feel safe in myself. I connect to myself. I allow myself to be. And I begin to champion what works for my life and what doesn't work for my life. So in each of these talks, I like to end with a blessing, a prayer. And these are great, and in a way they're great sattvas, they're great medicines. So last talk we talked about gratitude. The power of gratitude, to turn everything into a prayer, to be grateful for everything, creates flow in your life. And for this talk, I want to end on the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not turning the other cheek. Forgiveness is not some passive spiritual suffering, victim, martyrdom. It's not that. Forgiveness in New Paradigm is neutrality. It's coming to the place of the great dissolve, where you can let go of what you don't need. You can let go of what's sitting on your lungs, what's sitting in your liver, what's sitting in your thyroid, what's collected as a mass of thought, and begin to get the body emptying. So the body, this is the great embodiment. We are, as spiritual family, embodying life. For years, spirituality has been taught mystically that we have to go out and up to get it. And in the great cosmic dance, in the great journey of Brahman, in the great journey of everything changing, now it's the coming down and going deep and embodying, collecting the fragments. So to end, I would invite you just to shut your eyes, just to come back. And to enter into the relationship with forgiveness as a healer, as a guide for you. And I'm going to use, which some of you probably know, the Hawaiian prayer, which is so deeply effective. So find any place in your body, in your emotion, that you feel that you have hurt or neglected in yourself. And I want you to say to that part, I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me, body, emotion. Thank you for supporting me, body. Thank you. Please forgive me. And just allow yourself to really be tender and connect there. I want you to look outside to anybody that you feel has hurt you. And I want you to say to that being, I am sorry. Please forgive me if I've caused hurt. Thank you for the lessons. I let go. I want you to look at somebody that is easy to forgive, because obviously in all our consciousness we work with we're going through our own therapy and our processes for people that are harder to forgive. But for somebody that's easier to forgive, that's not a huge call on you, I just want you to say to somebody that you've hurt, somebody that you've been mean to, somebody that you've been unkind to, somebody that you've rushed, somebody that you've ignored. And just say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And come back to yourselves. Come back to that 50p bit. And put all your conscious awareness into that part of yourself. And say with your full heart, like you're meeting the most beautiful child, I love you. I'm sorry I haven't paid attention to you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And really let yourself connect and drop. I am enough. There is enough. I am safe. I choose peace. I choose joy. I am here. I am here now. I allow more of my life energy into me. I call more life energy into me. I love you. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Thank you. And when you're ready, with no rush, just open your eyes. So thank you for coming. If anybody wants to ask any questions or wants to know about the program or anything, please ask or find me outside. Does anybody want to say anything about how they're feeling now? Does anybody want to share anything about how they're feeling now? Okay, that's fine. There will be talks once a month. Little sweetness, little reminders. Okay. Thank you for your time. For more information about Fiona and the Arrigo team, our workshops and retreats, please visit www.thearrigoprogram.com. We offer deep healing and nurturing retreats for women, one-to-one mentoring and Skype sessions with Fiona or one of the team. Please contact again www.thearrigoprogram.com, where a list of future talks, coming webinars and a masterclass to support women in these times will be listed. Thank you.